Welcome, and thank you for tuning in to the Supply Chain Dialogues podcast, where we will be diving into the procurement, supply chain, and operations management world. We got insights for you into new, old, and even outdated truths, and hopefully that will make you more successful in your job by expanding your knowledge of solutions which are out there. My name is Daniel Helmig, your host for the show. I ran supply chains, procurements, and operations globally in 5 industries for more years than I care to remember.
And I'm Amy, the AI-generated co-host voice of the show. I will ask the questions and provide from time to time facts and figures provided from my other AI siblings.
Thank you, Amy. Let's dive into the show. This episode is called Start a Quality Revolution 2.0, or A Good Product is Not Good Enough Today. We will talk about delighting customers by selling not just excellent products, but being excellent. Now wait, you hear a statement like that and it's like a dull thud in the back of your skull. Just another article about innovation, production or sales, and your finger is already on the stop button to jump to the next true crime or fitness podcast. But just stay with me for just a few more seconds. What if we told you that the emotional experience your customers have with your products and services is what true crimes are made about? What if we together find out that not you, but your company needs a fitness program? Today it's no longer just about a functioning product. It's the whole deal that customers expect to be excellence. We show how excellence is often being murdered along the way and how you can beef up to not become another victim. Or, and I promise this is the last metaphor, more cruder and clearer, as one of the best quality leaders I've met, whom I call friend and teacher, once said, quality is like having an ice cream on a summer's day. You must lick it constantly, otherwise you have a mess on your hands. Quality, most people assume, is today given. But is it? Do not most of us have a mess on our hands by shaking the hands of companies that do not deal with their ice cream as they should? Let's go back along memory lane. Do you still remember the feeling when you bought a product and brought it home and it was dead on arrival or broken down shortly after? Or the last time you ordered something and it did not arrive in time? How about being charged wrongly? Or the return policy was confusing? Or trying to get help via customer service hotline or web page or chatbots? These instances are examples of 21st century poor quality, and it's the perception and the negative impact of the customer experience that leads to changes in growth today. Quality is everything that impacts the customer experience, positive or negative, from the product or service itself, the packaging. Do you still remember when you had the first mobile phone packaging that opened up and felt good? To the experience of dealing with your service center and sales employees or searching or buying on your webpage. Not being lousy is not good enough. You want to be excellent to gain and retain your customers. Excellence keeps customers returning to you, increasing your customer base by word of mouth, not by short-lived, expensive ad campaigns. Quality and excellence should be everything you are about. Take websites. Most websites are terrible when you look at it under the context of helping or listening to customers. They are great for getting the message out from internal departments like marketing, sales, sustainability, legal, and finance to publish what they believe is essential, or in the case of finance and legal actually is essential and required. But how about receiving input from or even helping your customers? And good luck finding stuff you want to actually buy. Get it repaired or get a price. Unless the site is called Amazon.com and some of the others, like Baidu. The same applies to service centers. No one that I know would put excellence and service centers in the same sentence. The words that are normally coupled with service centers are miserable, a joke, or for the literature refined among us, Kafkaesque. And since we're on it, while most products function much better since ISO 9000 was adopted 30 to 50 years ago, By everyone and their grandmother until today, we still struggle when it comes to the integration of software engineering into the world of mechanical engineering. In other words, say goodbye to customers buying your IoT devices or generating more revenue via your apps and IT services. Most of them are just poor. And another word on services and service contracts. How many of you have a bad taste in their mouth when they review the output of IT, facilities, or consulting service contracts we pay for? Do we have undisputable factors that allow us to A, define the work clearly in the statement of work, and B, regularly review and optimize the parameters of the service we are receiving? Or is it just more like a black box, where you as the customer just trust in the capability and professionalism of your partner? Based on my practice over the last decades, I'd say that many companies do not have a clue of how to assess truly excellence in services, or if they intellectually do, they do not know how to operationalize it month after month, year after year. And you cannot blame the suppliers of these services. They perform on the basis of what the customer is asking for. And if the customer is not clear, they do as they please, optimizing their rather than your customer's balance sheet. And finally, think about the apps for your heating system at home, your car, entertainment system, or house in general. Are they excellent? And I'm saying excellent not in the mind of your engineers, but in the minds of different age groups, genders, abilities that are using your products. Even if you forget the integration piece, how about just the apps of your insurance, bank, university, local grocer, or hairdresser? You can argue about the need for some of them to even have an app at all, but if they have a product called app, should it not be excellent? I stopped piling on. By now I think we're all on the same page. There is a difference between quality of product and the quality of everything that is surrounding what you're selling. And that's what we are talking about mainly today. Amy, why don't you give us an overview of the recent history of quality, and with recent I mean 50 years. That's how far back you have to go to see the emergence of a revolutionary change in quality and excellence. And then we, as detectives, still thinking about the true crime setup, will figure out why the methodologies to create excellence in manufacturing, which you can still witness every day with most products you use, did not carry over into the adjacent processes which by now make or break customer satisfaction. And then we talk about how we can fix this.
In the 1970s and 80s, the overall quality of products and services was often miserable, plagued by numerous issues and defects. Manufacturing processes were inefficient, leading to inconsistent output and unreliable products. There were frequent instances of poor craftsmanship, inadequate materials, and unreliable supply chains. The lack of standardized quality control measures resulted in high error rates, customer complaints, and excessive costs for rework and warranty claims. With the introduction of ISO 9000, Lean, and Six Sigma methodologies brought about significant changes in quality management practices. ISO 9000, a global standard for quality management systems, emphasized the need for well-defined processes, documentation, and continuous improvement. This led to the adoption of standardized procedures, enhanced traceability, and a focus on customer satisfaction. Lean manufacturing, inspired by the Toyota production system, aimed to eliminate waste and improve efficiency. It streamlined processes, reduced cycle times, and minimized defects through techniques such as just-in-time manufacturing and value stream mapping. This approach contributed to improved product quality and reduced costs. Six Sigma, on the other hand, focused on reducing process variations and defects by applying statistical analysis and rigorous problem-solving methodologies. It provided a structured approach to identify root causes, implement corrective actions, and monitor process performance. By implementing Six Sigma, organizations could achieve higher levels of quality and customer satisfaction. All of these methodologies promoted a culture of continuous improvement and laid the foundation for the high-quality production standards we witness today.
Thank you, Amy. So it works, and our cars, phones, toasters, and TVs show every day that quality and reliability is possible. You can say that product quality, which was until the early 2000s an order winner, today is an order qualifier. What that means is If everyone is at 0 ppm or whatever quality threshold is valid in your industry, your customers will take this for granted and apply other thresholds to select either you or your competitors. So after we have the production of stuff down, let's assume that this is the case, how do we get the same excellence into our other processes as well as software and human services? More studies than we can read without taking a serious sabbatical have been conducted on the fact that perceived quality or excellence is the largest detractor to growth and profitability. It is by far more important than price or the time your sales employees spend on the road seeing your potential customers. It is the quality of the product or service in all surrounding elements. The voice of the customer, which is a Six Sigma term, must be adhered to across service centers, sales, production, IT, and packaging design, sales and operation planners, transportation wizards, and all of your suppliers, in the same way how it is used in production. Unless even today you still have a more fuzzy approach on this, which means that you have bigger issues than what we are talking about here. Quality is synonymous with excellence, and it is in every department of your organization. If you want to achieve success, you need to prioritize quality. The old saying goes, the devil is in the detail, and when it comes to running a successful business, those devils and other little demons can mean the difference between thriving and merely surviving. Now, all of this is not new. Total Quality Management, TQM, has taken that approach from the beginning many years ago.
The foundations of TQM can be traced back to the work of quality management pioneers such as W. Edwards Deming, Joseph Juran, and Armand Feigenbaum in the mid-20th century. These individuals laid the groundwork for TQM by emphasizing the importance of statistical process control, quality improvement, and the involvement of all employees.
Now let's talk about Quality 1.0. The problem was that this methodology made it for most companies never out of the production halls. When it came to customer service, complaint handling, accounting, procurement, sales, you name it, the functional management said, well, TQM, Six Sigma, Lean, whatever, is all good for those blue-collar folks in production. But we, the white-collar people, do not need this kind of standardization. We are about creativity and like to invent our own methods. So all those great quality processes never made it over the blood-brain barrier of many companies. The head runs free and often foolishly with poorly reinvented tools of so-called functional efficiency. So, this sorry state of a lot of internal and external processes leads to frustrated customers and bloated organization, which operate in a completely non-agile way. Now, enough of this doom and gloom. How do we detect issues and how can we improve them? With regard to production, here is one idea that worked for me always in, for example, visiting suppliers or our own plants. The next time you find yourself walking the production floor, take a closer look at where the quality department is. Is it nestled comfortably next to the production manager's office, where it should belong, or tucked away in some remote corner? And how does it fit even on the larger organizational charge of your plant or your organization? And check with those folks in shipping and quality whether customer returns or any quality issues detected in production are analyzed to the root of the issue. Call it root cause analysis and failure mode effect analysis, FMEA. And if it is being done, is someone high up, for example, the production manager, or in the case of larger issues, the operations head, reviewing the findings? Why am I saying that? Because in my 35 years, I had maybe 5 occurrences where the root cause analysis report was done properly and not just a tick box exercise. And that is just due to missing focus and training. By the way, never an issue with Japanese suppliers. They had their learnings from the Toyota management system down to a science or religion, with every step meticulously planned and executed flawlessly. So it is possible to do it if you want to do it. All of what I talked about is just still, as I said, Quality 1.0. and 30 to 50 years old. But if you're not at the level of a computer, most car, white goods, and hi-fi manufacturing companies, just copy with pride and get your excellence in production to new levels. Or stay where you are, and here comes, as always, my favorite Deming quote, survival is optional. So let's look at Quality 2.0 in the 21st century, which is, for me, the next excellence revolution. Now let's assume that your products are excellence, even if you say so yourself. You have done the analysis, looked at teardowns and cost sheets, and you know that your product is similar or better than the stuff from your competition. So why don't you just grow phenomenally? The answer can be rather simple. Use the same tools that brought excellence to our homes and factories and run them internally in your white-collar, service and IoT-related teams. Check your corporate web design or app design departments. Look at service centers. Do you even have a dedicated team responsible for analyzing customer feedback and setting guidelines for implementing changes to improve the customer experience or just continuous improvement overall? If not, it may be time to start thinking seriously about the role of continuous improvement, aka quality, aka excellence, in this part of your organization. After all, if you want to boost revenue, increase profitability, reduce your ecological footprint, or improve your organization's agility, you need to focus on excellence and continuous improvement. Full stop. Whether you call it Lean, Six Sigma, TQM, Quality Circles, or any of its subsets like TOC, Design Thinking, DevOps, or Design for Six Sigma, the key is to make it real for every employee from the top to the bottom. It is more than just a buzzword or a check mark on a corporate governance checklist. It takes discipline and steely commitment from the CEO and board of directors, and an openness to embrace change by the whole organization. The payoff is substantial. By investing in quality and continuous improvement processes and making them a core part of your organization's DNA, you can position yourself for long-term success in an increasingly competitive business landscape in an environment which is just not focused only on the product. This means as well that there is no one in your company, I repeat, no one who hasn't been trained about the approach to quality following tools, processes, which are proven since half a century. So let's see where your company is on the excellence spectrum from quality 0.0 to 2.0. So how many questions or statements from Amy can you answer with a resounding fact-based yes?
Do you link your non-conformance reporting with distinctive actions and follow up on them via metrics? Does your senior management or even the board of directors review the summary regularly?
We talked about this earlier. It is amazing how many companies are keeping the words of the kings and queens, meaning their customers, at the lowest level of their company. How do you improve when you don't know what to improve?
Do you have a common continuous improvement process like TQM, Lean, Six Sigma, etc. linked to your HR job competency, training and promotion matrix?
If not everyone uses the same language, you all talk in tongues when it comes to excellence. Choose whatever quality or excellence program you like, and then let every employee, white and blue collar, get involved. You will be amazed about the jump in productivity and quality you will make.
Do you run an employee suggestion process focusing on quality towards the customer? Are the best suggestions celebrated across the company?
Most employees' suggestion processes are a joke. The people are not trained, the focus on gaps are good is not ingrained, hence people are careful to report faults for which they could be blamed. Often the programs as well do not provide any meaningful incentives, which does not have to be money. It can be a dinner with your loved one in a fancy restaurant, a weekend receiving a cool convertible, something that shows you as a company care. And finally, the suggestions have to be evaluated by professionals that understand not only their role in assessing the proposals, but as well the effect psychologically a celebrated success could have for an employee, a production line, a function, a site. I believe everyone in a company is an excellence powerhouse, just waiting to be connected.
Do you believe in your quality reporting, and is it customer-focused? Or is it like a melon, green outside and red inside?
Many reports, and not only quality reports, are like these melons. By the way, the saying is contributed to Vladimir Lenin. The modern equivalent is the saying, I only trust a PowerPoint that I falsified myself. The point is that quality or excellence reporting needs to be defined with clear standard algorithms, denominators, and nominators. They should be created as much as possible automatically, taking the human out of the equation. If you have 100 plants and a plant manager is too embarrassed to report truly, how can you find out that you might have an issue across 30 plants? The culture of a company has to be based on continuous improvement, or as I always say, gaps are good, closing them is great. Only then you get true reporting and not melons.
Do you have a quality policy? Has it been updated due to the recent changes in digitalization, AI, or legislation?
If you actually listen to the podcast and you're in sales, do you recall the last interaction with a customer when a quality issue occurred and the customer quality department asked for your quality policy? Did you read it? Did they read it and commented on it? In my experience, many quality policies are poorly written and without the needed leadership attention. And that means as well that every quality policy should be signed by the CEO. And if the CEO changes, the policy needs to be reread by the new CEO and then signed by the new CEO. It is that important. Without a North Star, where do you travel to? Every direction starts looking good until you end in a cul-de-sac.
Is your quality or continuous improvement leader reporting to the managing director in a business or, on group level, to the COO?
If excellence is important, information about excellence and its gaps is important as well. Everyone should know that issues are being shared with those people that decide about promotions and career. Tagging quality somewhere into the organization with many layers between a COO or CEO results in shielding the leadership team from the truth by producing many melons.
Do you measure how much of what the customer tells you to fix gets actually fixed?
This is as important in production as it is in customer service centers. If there is no feedback loop and the customer service representatives have only the job to placate the customer, no change happens. In some of the best companies I had the pleasure to work with, the person in front of the customer is the most important person in accepting and solving problems. He was like legions. He was able to drive all areas from R&D over manufacturing to sales to support and delight the customer, in this case me. No wonder he was leading the most successful account, and that was not because he was the most cost-reduced company, but they were the most admired in our shop. And I heard he became CEO 10 years later of that firm. No surprise.
Do you benchmark regularly both products and services as well as your internal processes and functions?
Continuous improvement or the strive to excellence is a journey in itself. But only the most experienced organization can keep the fire burning by declaring the journey is the destination. The rest need tangible goals. Nothing better to always assess where you are on the spectrum of performance. Just remember the days in school. If you were running alone, were you as quick as if you were running in a competition? Probably not. Now, if you answered yes to most of the questions, great. You have your quality and continuous improvement probably well under control. Congratulations, well done. Do not listen any further. Better to focus on other topics like becoming a polyglot, planning your next carbon neutral trip, donating to your favorite shelter, or just sitting in the sunshine. However, if there were gaps you answered no or did not know about, you have a tremendous opportunity to improve, well, everything. Let's look at the size of the prize hairfall, because we don't do anything for nothing, right? Quality and excellence is like good health and fitness. If you have it, you do not really think too much about it and take it in your usual way of living. But if you don't have it, you are reminded from the morning when you wake up to the evening that there is a problem, but often do not believe you have the strength to change. And we know what it takes to get fitter and healthier. We have to change behaviors. There are as many conditions regarding corporate health as there are ways to screw it up. So calculating the size of the price is not simple, depending on how unhealthy you are today. Companies that have taken quality and continuous improvement culture in the Quality Revolution 1.0 seriously, increased massively revenues, reduced their cost, and improved customer satisfaction. Overall, it is relatively simple. Just do it. It's a change of behavioral concept that you need to implement in your company. You would not be in your job if you would not be able to take concepts into reality. So read up on what it takes to drive excellence and quality, focus on the areas that you know you have a gap, and start your Quality Revolution 2.0, assuming that your product quality is under control. If not, take a notch down and call it 1.0. Material to familiarize yourself with the concept exists everywhere. Read articles in the Harvard Business Review, Hackett, books and web pages from strategic consultancies on quality, continuous improvement, excellence, and customer satisfaction. And use bestseller lists for excellence and quality books. Some of the best books in this field you can find on our webpage in the show notes of this episode. But in general, just look around and start listening with an excellence mindset. All of us have a feel for excellence. It is, simple enough, the opposite of frustration and feels fantastic. For me, it is a little bit like putting a finger in every stream to see whether the water as well there is wet. Your experience about quality in your personal life can be easily transposed towards your company. But just don't miss the point. You need to read up and you need to as well have the theoretical background. So let's start this quality revolution. How to do it then? What are the steps that you take to actually make your own quality revolution work in your company? So let's start as always with a time plan. It takes about 18 to 24 months, depending on the lack of your current fitness. As always, I'm not a fan of 3 to 5 year projects. Business life and the players move on and you miss out on implementing what you set out to do. After the 2 years, you can still iteratively work on other projects. It is just important that you start big and train and communicate to the whole company. You will ignite so many fires in the hearts and minds of your employees that with a bit of management, you will have your work cut out for the next decade. And it will never stop, ever again, making you the best runner in your industry, winning every prize of your customers. The board sponsor needs to be the CEO, or in a business unit setup, the managing director. This is boss territory. If not, don't do it. I've sat many years next to great quality leaders and met as well fantastic quality folks at suppliers that were delegated to just do the whole thing by themselves, since the CEO was too busy buying other companies or getting the company in all shape and forms into other problems. Quality was not her focus or his focus. If this happens, say no. Quality departments will never ever start a quality revolution. It always starts with the leader. It is like asking the marching band of an army to lead the battle. Everyone can march to the sound of their beat, but the direction and the strategy needs to be defined by the general. Now, who is then the board lead beside the sponsor? It has to be someone in the board or a direct report to the board who is in charge of the topic you try to solve for the whole company. So it can be the COO, the head of operations, even the CFO, head of sales, or head of general services if the customer service centers belong to his or her function. Before the lead is defined, do not think organizational charts though, but who is the best leader who has the empowerment and drive to improve the customer experience for your company? And a small hint if you are the MD or CEO for that quality revolution. Ensure that your colleague is on the mark. Drop into her office from time to time and drill into the topic to see whether she delegated it to someone else and do what she feels important, or is it true leverage for the project lead? Heck, make it part of her compensation package over the next 2 years. So the blueprint development. Well, first it starts with the current state, right? Visit your plants, visit your customers, visit your suppliers. Allow them to vent and listen. If you do not know how to accomplish this, you're in deep trouble. And trust me, it's not as easy as you think. You have to be willing to let your own preconceived notions of what is right in your company context behind the behaviors that you perform every day. There was a business unit who showed excellent on-time delivery performance, while more and more customers moved away to other competitors due to shorter lead time. It became clear, too late by the way, and the business unit was sold at the end, that they eliminated from their statistics all customer delivery requests that were seen as unreasonable. Hence, they never changed their production or storage processes and lost their clear market leader position. That's what I call not listening well. Based on the feedback, starting with customers, establish your blueprint for the quality and excellence revolution you like to see. Apply just enough theory from the last 50 years so that you do not run against the same walls as your predecessors on this way did. One hint: do not strive to be second, be first. Even if you are not accomplishing this, it is a good goal to have. Or did you go into any other race just to lose it? Unless it is an ultra-marathon, then surviving is enough. But in this case, maybe choose a different industry, career path, or company. Let's look at the project setup. Nothing new. You have to have a good project leader with Lean, Six Sigma, or whatever culture you like to implement background. A weekly task force, meeting with clear objectives, monthly reporting on board level by the project lead and the board sponsor with clear output KPI. Training of employees of new or renewed methodology, customers evaluated, improvement projects started and tracked until completion. Product services changes initiated, customer retention, customer fluctuation, and here I recommend the Net Promoter Score, NPS methodology, but just make sure that you always keep the same baseline, no shenanigans. How do you then sustain success? Well, you have to establish KPIs to report customer satisfaction, NCRs, improvement projects, personnel involved, linked to revenue and cost numbers that are sticking. Make it grown-up time. If the board of directors looks at it and asks from time to time questions, the whole company looks at it and will ask the same questions. And we always ask about the digitalization automation opportunity. Well, it's actually high. The whole methodology should lead to thousands of projects, including customer and employee suggestions, which improve and will change your product and services and the internal processes and organizational landscape. This needs to be tracked in a pipeline and funnel management system. Every day is valuable, and every implementation is a success that needs celebrating. This should be tracked as part of the ERP or any other corporate-wide use systems or data lake. But whatever you do, make it agile and make it fast and easy to use. How about the risk? Now, risk can be high. For example, if you start, you have to pull through and stay disciplined. Otherwise, the team loses every little interest in quality due to the missing focus of the management. I have seen so many remnants of half-hearted quality rallies in suppliers I was visiting, which were all well meant but not well implemented. End of the story is normally that the quality of the company was subpar and we moved on from them. We as well look briefly at cost. So training of personnel, adopting and signing up to a quality and excellence methodology format, building up KPIs, setting up employee suggestion process, adding continuous improvement experts to your team, and getting a contract with a company that trains your employees mainly online. If you go Lean Six Sigma or Lean Six Sigma, there are fantastic providers, just one Google search away. And one word on training, go to the best, not the mom and pop shop in your vicinity. You want experience from hundreds or thousands of companies built into their courses. If you need help in identifying good companies, talk with us. We're happy to help. Let's look at the watch-outs. The biggest issue is blaming for past mistakes. Every gap that is found is good. Every gap that is closed is great. Motivation, however, is killed by sentences like, "Why has this not been fixed before?" The answer is, well, but it wasn't, so just let it go and celebrate the success of making it better. This is what is called continuous improvement. If you start a quality revolution, the clock starts ticking at hour zero. The past is the past, and you look for a bright future. Now let's summarize and put it as well into a little bit of context. I was very lucky to have had the chance to lead the transformation revolution of a quality excellence culture in one of the world's largest power and automation providers as their head of operations and quality. Many, many excellent colleagues whom I owe a lot worked with me, and for the enterprising board of directors at that point in time who were up for the challenge after acknowledging the status quo. I know that a quality revolution can be accomplished in a company with 150,000 people, 250 manufacturing plants, and a similar amount of construction sites. We even had 1.5 million SKUs. If it can be there, it can be done everywhere. And as always, these podcasts are designed to paint a picture with a broad brush. If you want to dive deeper into this or any other specific topic or need tailored advice, please get in touch with us for an exploratory dialogue. Each of the topics we cover, we feel quite passionate about. And as we always say, stay safe and be bold and start your quality revolution.
Did you enjoy this podcast? Sign up for the Close the Gap blog and the Supply Chain Dialogues podcast on our webpage, or listen in on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
And that's it. Goodbye.